Hey there everyone, my name is Brendan and welcome back to the Crypto Analyst channel. And the crypto markets are pumping, Ethereum ETFs are back in the conversation, and the continued sell-off from Grayscale onto Bitcoin might just be ending. Now this is really important because everyone has been asking us over here, when is the selling from Grayscale going to stop? And we might just have our answer because JP Morgan is tuning in onto the subject. So obviously we got a lot of stuff that I want to talk about in today's video. So if any of this interests you and you want to stay up to date on everything that's happening in the world of crypto, well, this is going to be your number one place to do it. So let's kick things off with price. What's happening on the charts? Why is the whole crypto market up? And can we expect this rally to continue? Well, we're looking at the 1 hour chart right now, and I kind of want to take a step back and zoom us out to the daily chart, because on the daily chart, we can see that this is still a pretty hefty candle. I mean, Bitcoin's up about 2.25%, Ethereum's up about 2%. The whole altcoin market is rallying as well. I mean, we have AVAX up 7.5%, Celestia up almost 9.5%. We have Solana up 7.25%, and there's just plenty of altcoins across the board. I mean, you're looking at this, and there is not enough red to go around because the green and the bulls have completely taken back control of this market. SUI is one of the outliers that just continues to perform. We've talked about it a little bit if you're a part of Crypt Nation or Altcoin Alert or anything else. We've talked about SUI quite a bit over there. In fact, we've done a whole newsletter on them. And man, they continue to wow us with the performance. And it just goes to show, like, there is a lot of money to still be made here. And not only in Bitcoin, but in the altcoin markets as well. So we're rallying over here. And again, a lot of people's questions are, why is this happening and can this continue? And the answer really has to do with one of the main points of this video, being that Grayscale has significantly slowed down their selling pressure. Now, JP Morgan tuned in on this topic. They talk about everything that's happening over here. And basically, they say that what they see is that a lot of this selling pressure that has been going on when it comes to GBTC and Grayscale and their ETF, it's easing, and it could very likely be over. And so when it's all said and done, we saw about $3 to $4 billion outflow from GBTC, which means that a lot of people sold. And when you're wondering, well, why would people have sold? Well, there's really two factors. Number one, FTX got approved to sell about $1 billion worth of GBTC. And then number two, a lot of people were in profits on their Grayscale Bitcoin ETF or their GBTC. And people had bought this years ago. They weren't able to sell. They were buying at a pretty much just a discounted price because it unpaired from the parity of Bitcoin. And so now all of a sudden people are able to sell and they're in profits, and they were taking profits and getting away from the high fees that Grayscale was offering into a lower fee custodian, maybe something like BlackRock or Fidelity. And so there's a lot of profit taking over here for, again, a plethora of different reasons. But JP Morgan was kind of coming in here with some of their analysts and say, hey, it looks like the large form of the profit taking, the large majority of this profit taking has pretty much already happened and concluded, which is a really good thing because, again, that was one of the big driving forces causing this sell-off. I think the numbers were something like there's been almost $400 million being sold off from them alone, like consistently for like 10 days straight or something like that. So again, it's been a lot of money getting kind of flooded out and onto the market. But guess what? The crypto market survived it, and it is seeing, again, quite a bit of green here. Now, the other thing that everyone's talking about over here is that Ethereum ETFs are back in the conversation. Now, notably, it's not for the best of reasons, but I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. So what we saw just the other day is that the SEC has delayed the decision for the BlackRock Ethereum ETF. Now, when have they delayed it to? Well, they delayed it to March. And we actually brought in James Seyfarth on this matter on the Crypto 101 podcast. So we actually, again, just had him in. That podcast should literally be coming out any day now. If you're not following the Crypto 101 podcast, you totally should. Again, it's free, and we interview all the industry leaders over there. So you can find us on like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, everything. But we actually just brought in James Seyfarth, who's the one kind of addressing this information. And basically what happened here was that the Ethereum ETF from BlackRock was pushed back towards March. But the other notable date for everyone to kind of pay attention to here is May 23rd. So we have March 10th, which is going to be a deadline for approval or disapproval. And then we also have another significant deadline happening at May 23rd. Now, I was always under the impression that we were going to see this kind of ETF really start coming into the conversation around March, April. And that's looking like we're still kind of holding that. In fact, I didn't know that it would have been possible to really even see or likely to see this Ethereum ETF approval prior to March. So when I heard that it was delayed to March, I was like, oh, like that's really not that bad. And when you're looking out, there's still obviously a lot of good things happening over here. I mean, what is it? March 10th is less than 2 months away. So when we're talking about this delay or anything like that, it's really, again, it's not that far into the future. So am I sweating this news? Absolutely not. When we're looking at an Ethereum ETF, though, again, there's a lot that goes into that. And it's not the same process as Bitcoin. They're very separate assets. And when you look at Ethereum and everything that's built on top of it, when you look at its consensus mechanism now being proof of stake, there are more challenges to kind of work through there. And so when we were actually talking to James about this issue, again, he's a leader from Bloomberg Intelligence on the ETF matters. He's basically saying that for the Bitcoin approvals, most people said it was a 90+% of getting it approved. Now for the Ethereum ETFs, that's a little bit closer to like 60-65%. In fact, I think the number is around like a 65-66% approval rating, which is still positive. It's still saying, hey, it's very likely that an Ethereum ETF will get approved, but there are a bit more complexities to a matter like that when it comes to something like Ethereum as opposed to Bitcoin. So we're still remaining really optimistic about everything that we got going on over here. And when we look at the selling stopping Ethereum ETFs back in the conversation and the fact that prices are rising, again, it just goes to show that the trend is still very much upwards. And I've talked about this. I've ranted about this in some of my previous videos, but it's okay to see a 10, 20, 30% pullback on Bitcoin's chart over a 1 to 2 month period and still have us hold the overall uptrend. And I'm going to show this again because I think people need to see it. And I've been seeing way too many perma bears kind of come back out here. But when we go and we look again at the previous market cycle, guess what? Here's a period of time where Bitcoin managed to pull back 31% over the course of a month, and it still held the overall uptrend. So guess what? The market pulled back over 31%, then rallied to new highs the following month. And there's some periods of time where, guess what? It's more than a month of down. Maybe it's a month, maybe it's 2 months. And the market can still hold its overall shape upwards. So when we're looking at pullbacks in a bull market, again, I think we really have to zoom out and understand the bigger picture, and that Bitcoin can pull back to its 200-day moving average. It can pull back for an extended period of time. It can see these greater dips, and it's not the end of the cycle. So that's kind of like the big focus that I'm having here, is that I'm still very optimistic about the future. In fact, Bitcoin's price doesn't really top out until about a year to a year and a half after the halving has happened. And the halving hasn't even happened yet. So most people aren't even thinking about whether Bitcoin is topped out yet. That's not even on the front of most people's minds here. They're saying, okay, well, let's worry about the Ethereum Denkun upgrade. Let's worry about the Ethereum ETFs. Let's worry about the halving. Let's worry about the election year. Let's worry about the rate cuts. Let's worry about all these other things. And that's what people are thinking about. They're not saying, it's not even on most people's minds of like, have we topped out yet? Like, is the top in? So at least that's where I stand. And again, I had to address that matter because for whatever reason, there are a lot of perma bears, especially on Twitter right now. And I'm seeing them call for a 1K Bitcoin, a 10K Bitcoin. And truth be told, I think a lot of it's nonsense. So we're going to have a lot more content coming out, as I said. If you're not following us on all of our other media, that's Crypto 101. We got a podcast. You can follow us on Twitter. But we also have Crypt Nation and Altcoin Alert, which is a really great place to be if you want to be plugged into the crypto community. So thank you all for watching. I hope you all did enjoy. And if you want to watch more content like this one, again, consider hitting the like and subscribe button. But until the next week's video, everyone, we will see all of you very, very soon.